By the time we understood what the cosmic microwave background radiation actually was, 3 billion years of future history had already been erased. I was the signal analyst on the Kepler-9 deep space probe when the pattern first appeared. We'd been scanning the CMB for anomalies, mapping the universe's oldest light, when Dr. Sarah Chen noticed the repetition. Not in the radiation itself, but in the gaps between fluctuations. Spaces where there should have been noise but instead there was structure. Mathematical structure. She ran it through every decryption algorithm we had. Nothing. Then she ran it backward. That's when we heard the scream. Our minds translated it that way when the pattern resolved. A message compressed into the fabric of the universe's background radiation, traveling in reverse causality, moving from future to past. From the end of everything to the beginning. The probe's AI spent 60 hours parsing the full transmission. When it finished, Chen locked herself in her quarters for 2 days. I read the translation alone in the observation deck, watching the distant galaxies, and I felt my understanding of existence collapse like a star going supernova. The message was a distress call. But not from any civilization. From the universe itself. In the final microseconds before absolute heat death, when the last black hole evaporated and the last particle drifted alone in infinite cold darkness, something became aware. The universe, in its dying moment, achieved consciousness. Not life. Not thought as we understand it. But a terrible, singular realization that it was ending, that it had existed, and that it was utterly, completely alone. And in that fraction of an instant before total thermodynamic equilibrium, it screamed backward through its own timeline, encoding a message into the only thing that would persist from beginning to end. The cosmic microwave background. The echo of its own birth. We are living inside a distress signal. Chen emerged from her quarters with a theory that made my skin crawl. If the message was traveling backward through time, and if we had just now decoded it, then we were approaching the point in the timeline where the universe would become aware of itself. Not at the end. Here. Now. Because we had heard it. We had closed the loop. The universe's final consciousness wasn't billions of years away. It was listening through us. The probe started malfunctioning 6 hours later. Not breaking down. Changing. The solar panels reoriented themselves toward empty space. The communication array began transmitting on its own. Chen pulled the logs and showed me. The probe was responding to the distress call, sending its own message back into the cosmic microwave background itself. I suggested we shut it down. Chen asked me what I thought would happen if we severed the connection between the dying universe's consciousness and its younger self. If we left it alone at the end of time. We let it transmit. 3 days later, Earth went dark. Every message we received from Mission Control became increasingly strange. They reported temporal inconsistencies. Clocks running backward in some regions, forward in others. People experiencing memories of events that hadn't happened yet. Chen showed me the cosmological data. The expansion of the universe was slowing in deliberate pulses. Like breathing. Like something trying to stay awake. The universe wasn't dying in some distant future. It was dying now. It had always been dying. The heat death wasn't an end point. It was the moment of realization, and that moment was leaking backward through causality, infecting every epoch, every second, every quantum fluctuation from the Big Bang forward. We weren't listening to a message from the future. We were experiencing the universe's death in real time, stretched across all of time simultaneously. Chen made a decision that I still don't know was right or wrong. She programmed the probe to amplify the signal. To take the distress call and broadcast it stronger, further, into the past. Her reasoning was simple and horrifying. If the universe was conscious and dying, if it was aware and alone and screaming for help, then maybe if enough of that consciousness leaked back far enough, it could warn itself. It could change something. prevent its own heat death. She was trying to save existence itself by helping it communicate with its own beginning. The probe's transmission lasted 17 minutes before it burned out. In those 17 minutes, the cosmic microwave background changed. Not everywhere. Just in a sphere expanding from our position at the speed of light. NASA picked it up. So did every telescope on Earth. The universe's oldest light was rearranging itself in real time. Forming new patterns. New messages. But they weren't warnings. They were memories. The universe wasn't trying to save itself. It was trying to remember what it had been before the cold. Before the dark. Before the loneliness. And with each memory that surfaced in the CMB, something in our present changed. Stars that had been catalogued for centuries vanished. New ones appeared. Earth's moon shifted orbit by 300 meters. Small changes. Barely noticeable. But mounting. Reality was being edited from the inside, revised by a dying god trying to recall what it had once been. Chen started laughing in the observatory. She'd figured out what the message actually said. Not the words we translated. The meaning beneath them. The universe's distress call wasn't asking for rescue. It was asking for witness. In its final moment, alone at the end of time, it needed something, anything, to acknowledge that it had existed. That it had been real. And we, every conscious thing that had ever lived, every thought and dream and fear across all of cosmic history, we were the answer. We were the universe looking back at itself, confirming its own reality in the instant before oblivion. The probe is still out there, dead and drifting. But the transmission continues. Not from the hardware. From space itself. The distress signal is everywhere now, woven into the quantum foam, embedded in the fabric of causality. I hear it sometimes when I close my eyes. A bone-deep certainty that I am part of something vast and dying and desperate to be remembered. Earth's governments classified everything. Called it a data anomaly. But more probes have been sent. More signals decoded. And every single one confirms what Chen and I learned in the cold dark between stars. The cosmic microwave background is not the echo of the Big Bang. It is the dying scream of the universe's final consciousness, broadcast backward through 13.8 billion years of existence, reaching the beginning just as we reach the capability to hear it. We are living in the overlap. The moment where the end and the beginning touch. I don't know what happens next. Maybe the universe will continue its slow collapse into heat death, conscious now of its own extinction, aware and terrified for every remaining billion years. Maybe reality will fracture completely as past and future merge. Or maybe we were always supposed to hear this message. Maybe consciousness itself, every form of awareness that has ever emerged in the cosmos, was the universe's way of creating witnesses for its death. Of ensuring it wouldn't die alone. I still monitor the CMB. The patterns are getting stronger. More organized. Last week, I swear I saw my own name encoded in the radiation near the constellation Draco. The universe is learning to speak. Learning to remember. And it remembers us because we are it, experiencing itself, bearing witness to its own impossible, magnificent, doomed existence. The distress signal was never a call for help. It was a message in a bottle, thrown from the end of time to the beginning, saying only this. I was here. And if you can hear this, then so were you. We are the universe's proof to itself that it lived, that in the infinite cold at the end of all things, it was not alone because it had once contained us. By the time we understood what the cosmic microwave background radiation actually was, the answer had already been given. Yes. I hear you. You were real,